Today's episode of Chat and Chew is sponsored by Be Positive Productions and Multimedia Studios, LLC. I like to think of imagination as something akin to a superpower. Used in the right context for good, it can help bolster our aspirations and propel us closer to our goals. We visualize the outcome of our accomplishments and work toward attaining said thing. However, when used to propagate untruths, reality can become distorted. We no longer know what's real and what's not. The more often we repeat something to ourselves, the more likely it is to become our truth, and the lines between perception and reality begin to blur. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a wrap. Please make sure you follow us on Facebook, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and of course, hit the bell to activate notifications that will remind you when we're on. Please be sure to leave us a comment to let us know how we're doing. We'd love to hear from you.
Hello everyone, this is Glenn Warren, founder and executive director of Fathers Forever. I want to share an alarming reality with you. 627,000 fathers are incarcerated that have kids under 18. Now, there are 56,000 moms incarcerated who have kids under 18. The reality is there are so many more fathers incarcerated than moms. This is why I Am a Father Forever book exists. Now, I need your help. I am inviting you to help us get this book into as many fathers incarcerated as possible. Here's how it works. For your donation of $22, we will provide a book to an incarcerated father. Thank you in advance for helping Fathers Forever heal fathers and save families. If it looks like I'm reading, it's because I am. I want to get these statistics right, and I want to make sure that we go over this in a few minutes before we get into our broadcast today. Children who feel close to their fathers are 2 times as likely to go to college or to find a stable job. 80% are less likely to go to jail. 50% are less likely to experience depression. These are statistics that are real-life statistics that show that a father's involvement has a major impact on his child's life. Also, a father that's not involved have a major impact on his child's life. Today's episode of Chat and Chew, me and my siblings are going to sit down and we're going to have a good discussion about our father. I'll say this and I'll say this to anybody. My father was one of the best fathers a kid could have. And as today, as I was doing a speech about fatherhood, and I said that, and I almost broke down and started crying in front of about 75 people before I got myself together. It's because I get emotionally sometimes when I talk about my father and what he meant to me. So, I know some of you are tuning in during your lunch break. So let's chat and chew while you do.
Please make sure you follow us on Facebook, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and of course, hit the bell to activate notifications that will remind you when we're on. Please be sure to leave us a comment to let us know how we're doing. We'd love to hear from you.
Hello everyone, this is Glenn Warren, founder and executive director of Fathers Forever. I want to share an alarming reality with you. 627,000 fathers are incarcerated that have kids under 18. Now, there are 56,000 moms incarcerated who have kids under 18. The reality is there are so many more fathers incarcerated than moms. This is why I Am a Father Forever book exists. Now I need your help. I am inviting you to help us get this book into as many fathers incarcerated as possible. Here's how it works. For your donation of $22, we will provide a book to an incarcerated father. Thank you in advance for helping Fathers Forever heal fathers and save families. Okay, here we are live in the studio. As we did for Mother's Day, we all got together, my siblings and I, and talked about our mom. And so we're doing the same thing for Father's Day in celebration of our father, Archie Thornton Warren. Was born January 1st, 1924. Departed his life May of 2005. He was 81 years old. We're going to go around the room again and talk about our stories with what he meant to us and how he shaped our lives and caused us to be the people that we are today. So we're going to kind of, I think we'll let Ernie go first, and she's going to tell us kind of where you fit in the count-up, the lineup.
My name is Erlene, and I am the oldest of all of my siblings. And so therefore I was the apple of my father's eye because I was the first. I'm sure my siblings are going to argue with that, but hey, that's what he used to say anyway.
You don't do that?
Yes,
Okay.
because he used to let me do all kinds of things when I was a baby. So I just remember the stories that they used to tell me about how daddy, because I was the first. So I got away with a lot of things that I probably shouldn't have got away with, and I was a girl. So then after we got all the other brothers and sisters, he had to tighten up on us a little bit. But daddy was a hard worker. He was a person that inspired us to do better. He loved education. So he wanted all his children to get a good education. And I can say that not most, but all of us did do exactly what he inspired us to do. And like I said, daddy was a hard worker. He worked 2 jobs just so mama didn't have to work, so she could stay home to nurture the children. And he was a great provider.
So next in line is our brother Aaron, which is deceased. He passed away January of this year. Aaron was the second oldest. He was a little short dude for a while. Then he grew up to be a real big dude. So we miss him very, very much.
Yes.
So he was the second in line. So the third in line is
me. I'm Priscilla. I'm the third child and the middle girl. So I was born in January, just like my dad. So we always had this special thing. We were both Capricorns. And so my daddy, he literally saved my life because he bought us candy and probably about 10. And so we were all in the room playing and eating candy, and it was a little round ball of candy slipped down my throat. So I was choking. I couldn't talk or anything, and I knew that my mom and daddy were in the kitchen. And my brothers and sisters, they didn't pay any attention to me. So I remember walking into the kitchen with my hand around my neck. And my mama said, "Archie!" And he jumped up out of the chair and he just grabbed me and bent me over, just like the hammock maneuver. He just started beating. But he wasn't using the palm, but he was beating. So my mama said, "You're going to kill her." But he wouldn't stop. He just kept beating and beating. And then the candy popped out. So he saved my life because I was a goner. I had done lost, I was plumb limp. He was just holding me up. And I was, so he literally saved my life.
Okay.
And so I am the third one. Actually, I'm the middle child. I was kind of ignored, I think, sometimes. I had 3 younger and 3 older. So I was the 4th child, but also the middle child. And so my dad and I had I get into the stories about our relationship later on, but I just wanted to, yeah. So who was next? Oh, so we talk about, Tommy, okay.
Well, yes.
What, me next?
Yes, you're next.
Okay,
Tom.
I'm the 5th child, the 3rd son. I will always put that on my card. 3rd son like that.
Yes, he would.
Yeah, I always do that. But one thing I remember about my father, a lot of things I remember about him that were inspirational to me. It's like in the neighborhood, all the kids had ponies. And I wanted the pony so bad, and I could imagine myself or visualize myself riding out behind my friends on a pony, and I would catch them and pass them up. And I always wanted a pony, and apparently I expressed that to him over and over and over and over again. I want a pony. Had no idea how much a pony costs, and I know we couldn't afford one, but my father got me that pony.
Mm-hmm.
And so I call that the pony story. So in my book process, the pony story. So that has lasted me all my life in terms of imagination, visualization, creativity. As a child, had a childlike faith, and I always like to keep that childlike faith. And part of that, a lot of that came from my father. Just through that one time of good act, a gift.
Okay.
Okay, and our next brother, Kenny. Kenneth Warren.
Kenneth Archie Warren.
He was named after Kenneth was our youngest brother, as the old folks say. He was the knee baby.
Knee baby.
Kenny had a tumor a few years ago, passed away, and actually he was having seizures in relation to the tumor that we didn't know about. And they finally they discovered the tumor. They had the surgery to take it out, but the doctor said it will come back in about 10 years. It will spread to the rest of his brain, and his prediction was correct. It did come back about 10 years later, and it went through his brain, and it ended up causing him his life. And so Ken was our beloved brother. He was in his early 30s when he passed away.
Yeah.
So now we come to the baby of the crowd.
Yes, my name is Carol. I am the baby of the family. I've been told that they didn't want me. They wanted Mama to send me back. Of course, that wasn't possible, and she wouldn't have done it if she could. And definitely my daddy would not have allowed it. The thing that sticks out, 2 things that stick out the most about my father was that he loved his children. And he was a protector of all of us. He didn't allow us to go and stay with any and everybody. It was like an act of Congress for me to even stay with my mother's sister, which was our aunt. She lived in Dunn. And also she wanted to take me on a trip. But he finally consented and I was able to go. But he didn't let us just go from neighbor to neighbor, to house or staying with different people. He protected us and he loved us. I remember, them telling stories of how Daddy would get on the floor and play with them, and he was a family guy. And I was telling this to my daughter just a few days ago. I was like, my daddy could do anything. And that's how I literally felt. He could do anything. Yeah. He was the first, to this day, I believe that I received my love for do-it-yourself shows and fixer-upper shows because of Daddy. He would do that. Mom would go to the store. She would pick out linoleum to go in the kitchen. It'd be down in one day. He could fix anything. He always had tools. He always had everything that he needed to fix the cars, to fix the house. And he just had this knowledge. To this day, I don't know how he received it because he didn't finish high school. I think Daddy had maybe a 6th grade education. I did hear him say that he would remember. He had a great memory. So he couldn't read that well, but he would remember. And then, I believe along the way, he taught himself as well. But he absorbed information and he retained it. He was just an intelligent, smart man. And you give him something to do, he would figure it out. He was the mechanic. He was the gardener. We had everything that we needed, and it came from my daddy.
And he loved hats, and I'm wearing this hat because this is a female hat, but my daddy wore hats just
Type
like
hats
this.
like that.
He would wear them on when we would go visiting family or to church, and then when we weren't in church, he would wear one like Tommy has on.
Mm-hmm.
So he loved hats. My mom loved hats too, so that's where I get the hat thing from.
So if I was to ask you, each one of you, give me one word. I know there's probably a million of them, but give me one word that you can use that will define who Daddy was.
Let me go first.
Go first.
Strong.
Strong.
Strong. He was a strong man. He used to pump up his muscles and let me feel him. He was ticklish, so you couldn't tickle him. He didn't like that because he was ticklish, but he had muscles, and you could see the definition in his arms. His hands were big. I mean, Daddy's hands, like his index finger was as wide as my knuckle. He had big hands, and he was just strong. He had strength physically. He had strength spiritually. He always made sure that we went to church. He would come occasionally, and before life ended, he did more. But as we was growing up, he made sure we were in church. So he was strong physically, he was strong spiritually, and he was strong mentally because, again, he kept his children. He taught us morals and values and respect. He was just a strong man.
I'm next.
Oh,
He was a protector. Don't nobody mess with his children.
Yeah.
If you're a little baby and you go visit somebody and they want to hold the baby, my daddy said no. If the child say no, he wouldn't let you touch it. Don't make my baby cry. He didn't like for a baby to cry.
Right.
He's gonna take care of the baby.
Right.
why is that baby crying?
Yeah, why is that baby crying?
Yeah.
Stop the baby from crying.
Bring that baby here.
And you
That's
better get up
right.
and stop the baby from crying.
Right. Bring the
Whatever,
baby here if you
Yeah.
can't stop him.
He loved children. He
He'll
loved
give you a
babies.
moment to get the baby quiet. And if you don't do it, then he's going to say, why is that baby crying?
Right.
Okay, I would have to say that he's a hard worker / provider.
That's 2 words, Elaine.
I'm sorry, but that's what I can describe how I feel. And that's what I thought he was, because he always provided for us.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that we wanted within reason,
Mm-hmm.
he would give it to us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And in order to be a good provider, you had to be a hard worker. And so anybody that worked 2 jobs
Sometimes 3.
Sometimes 3.
Mm-hmm.
definitely means he was a hard worker.
Yeah.
You didn't know, excuse me.
I'm going.
Okay. Visionary. I would say
Okay.
because my father had a vision. He had to have a vision
Yes.
because he used to tell us, "You going to school?
Mhm.
You're
Right,
going to do
Tom.
more. You're going to complete high school.
You're going to go
college.
further than me.
You're
He
going
would
to go a
tell us
lot
that.
further than me going to college."
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't know anything about BEOG.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't know about the grants that was out there, but he spoke it, and he had a vision for it.
Mm-hmm.
And so he definitely was a visionary, and he had and also the art, creativity, and imagination to remember things
Mm-hmm.
and to fix things and
Mm-hmm.
take engines out of vehicles and stuff like that. So he was definitely a visionary. He had a vision for his family.
Yeah.
He had a vision for each one of us,
Right.
and he was able to see that come to fruition.
Yes, that's true.
He worked hard to make sure that he had a legacy to leave for his children.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mine is determination.
Okay.
Again, everybody has said the same thing. When Daddy was put his mind to do something,
Yeah. He
he
found
didn't
it.
stop until he got it done.
Mm-hmm.
He set his sights on all of us,
Mm-hmm.
going to college,
Yep.
getting an education, whatever the trade school, whatever we tried to do, and he didn't stop there. I remember I told him, I wanted to get out of Benson. One that there for me. I was tired of working in the
Tobacco.
backer, and I was just ready to go. And I told my dad I want to go to the Army, but he's like, no, you don't need to go to the Army. you need to go to school. You need to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
And I applied for college. I got turned down for one. Another one told me that A&T told me that I go to summer school. St. Augustine said, "Come as you are." So I packed up my backpack and I came to St. Augustine. That's why I came to St. Augustine. I wanted to go to A&T. I wanted to go where A1 was at, but I was determined, And so my dad, again, like Tommy said, he didn't know how he was going to send us to school. I think A1 might have had a scholarship. So he didn't know how he was going to send us to school. All he knew was
We were going to school.
And he was determined to find a way, and thank God we did. We went to school.
Yeah.
He couldn't afford all of us without getting the grants and the Pell grants and everything that we did. But he was determined for us to get the education. He was determined to us to be safe, like Priscilla just said. You didn't go and spend the night at somebody's house. That didn't happen.
That didn't happen.
That didn't happen. You didn't do that. And he always protected of everybody. He wanted to make sure that his kids was protected at all times. So when it comes down to, providing for us, all that, he was determined to make sure that happened. And so the next thing is, tell me one of your favorite stories. One of the stories that kind of, I know we got, all of us got a million and one. But what is the story that really stands out to you?
Okay, I got one.
Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. You want to go first? Okay. Okay, I got a story. And so, and when you grow up, you seek approval from your parents. All kids do that. Whether consciously or unconsciously, knowing that. And I remember after I got started in the limousine business, we came to see Daddy. He was in the hospital. So I came upstairs, so I'm walking down the hall. I could see him. I come up the elevator. He's sitting down to the other end of the hallway. And I could see him. And every once in a while, I could see him look up. And he'd look back down. So I keep walking towards him. He'd look up, then look back down. So then when I get close to him, he said, "Oh, it's you." He said, "I saw you when you first turned the corner." He said, "The thought came to me, that guy must be very important. That is a very important guy come walking on this way." He told me that 2 or 3 times over that night. That's what he thought when he looked up and saw me, but he didn't know who I was.
All right.
He only knew that when I got close to him. And that blew me out of the water. I think about that. I get chill once, but that was approval for me that he was proud of me. And also he told me either that time or another time, another story, he said, "Tommy, you are your own man now." And so that was like passing the torch. I'm not a little boy, even though I was a grown man. But still, I'm his son.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was a good story. So that meant a lot to me.
Okay.
That was nice.
All right. Who's next?
I'll go next.
Okay.
I think I told this story before, but I wasn't a troublemaker, but I always.
Well, you keep saying that. I don't know.
I didn't get in.
When those guys
One fight.
No, we didn't.
We did.
Oh, he was pretty good.
Yeah, but I always seemed to clash when Daddy wanted me to do something I didn't want to do. I was the one. I don't know what they want to do, but I was the one that
would
kind of blow up at him a little bit, and knowing that I probably could get knocked down.
Not I.
But this particular time, my daddy, our daddy, I wanted to go out to the club with my friends. And my daddy said, our daddy, "No, you can't go. You can't go." I was upset. I was mad. But I didn't go. The next day, we went to school, and 2 of my classmates that I would have been in a car with got arrested because they picked up a guy to take him to the store. He went inside the store and robbed the store. Came back and got in a getaway car that they were driving. The cop was called later on. All of them went to jail. One of them, there was 3 of them. One of them passed away in jail. If my dad would have let me go that night, I would have been in that car.
You've been in that car.
With them. My life would have changed forever. So that time, even though I was still a little bit, that always resonated in my mind that you need to listen to this man, because I don't think I never shared that with him, And now in hindsight, I wish I probably would have.
Mm.
But as soon as said, he probably saved my life,
Mhm.
not in the sense that I was dying, but I would have went to jail that night,
Right.
just like my other 3 friends. And
Right.
my other 3 friends were good people.
Mhm.
They were good guys. They didn't have no criminal record, but they would have went to jail by being at the wrong place at the wrong time, and they got convicted.
Mhm. That's life saving.
Mhm.
I mean, Daddy did a lot for us. He was inspirational. After a few years, he bought some property down in Godwin, North
Mhm.
Carolina.
Mhm.
And so he wanted to leave his children an inheritance, a legacy.
Mhm.
So he left each one of us a part of that property, and we still own that to today.
Mhm.
We refused to sell that because that was a legacy that was passed down from our father.
Yeah.
And hopefully, somebody can go down there and build on it. If not, then it'll be passed down to the next generation. But he was always trying to make sure that we had what we needed,
Mhm.
and he would provide those things.
Right.
He loved his grandkids.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you a story about his first grandchild. The things that little girl could do when we went down to his house. And if I tried to whoop her daddy tried to whoop her, he would not allow us to spank her or to do anything with her. I used to promise her, girl, when I get you home, it's gonna be on. Because she could do anything in the world that she wanted to do. And he wouldn't do anything to her.
Mhm.
And she used to go down there with him, and he'd be out working on the chicken coops. Guess what? She'd be sitting out there on the chicken coop, sleep, and he would not make her go in the house. He'd let her stay right out there with him.
I see
So
that.
he loved his grandchildren.
Yeah.
He loved them. He treated them. Look, he let them get away with stuff that he didn't let his kids get away with.
And that's most grandparents.
Yeah.
They could do it. Like I said, she could do anything in the world,
Mhm.
and that was precious.
Yeah.
Because that just shows how much he loved children.
Mhm.
Daddy loved children.
And I was a tattletale.
You still is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Anybody, I would see what got other people in trouble, so I wouldn't do it. But I would go tell it. And then, they pick at me and then they tell me I want their sister and they beat me up. So then I'd go crying to Daddy. He'd take me to the store, buy me a bag of candy. And then when we got back, he told me, now go share it. I didn't like that part, but I had to.
Right.
You got to go share it.
Mhm.
That's one thing he did teach us, to share. If you don't share with your brothers and sisters.
And don't
And
fight
he
each
made-
other.
And he would not allow us to fight each other.
Right. Right.
We could not do that.
But the
Okay.
secret was, Mama would allow us to fight sometimes
Yeah. On Sunday
so
afternoon.
that we could learn how to protect
On
ourselves.
Sunday afternoon.
Daddy would be in DC working,
No, he would be working.
or either at his second
Yeah,
job.
second job.
And then after we would learn a little bit, she'd make us quit.
Yeah. Or whoever stopped crying. When somebody stopped crying,
That's
it was
it's
over.
over.
But she would let you go a little bit until somebody started crying.
Yeah, you got to learn how to protect
And most
yourself a
times
little
you
bit.
start crying that one. Most times.
No.
That's another thing that Daddy did. When the jobs down here were not paying
Mhm.
a lot, Daddy traveled to
Mhm.
Maryland
Mhm.
and to work with his brother. And I don't know, do y'all remember how many years he did that? He
At
did
I
that
don't know.
for many, many
5
years.
years.
Yeah, about
At least
I
five.
don't know
At
how
least
many
5.
years he did that
Mhm.
And he would come home
on
every
the,
On the weekends.
Friday,
on the weekend.
and he worked 2 jobs up there. He worked
Mhm.
the 7 to 3, whatever. And then had a part-time job.
Mhm.
He had a building at night.
And he would
Mhm.
send the money home to Mom, or bring the money home to Mom. He had this little bitty car. I remember, you remember
Dodge.
Dark.
the little Dodge that he had?
That's
That
all.
little car would be in the road, in the wind.
Back and
Because
forth.
I went up there, I took him up there after he started working
Mhm.
a couple of times to see his brother. And we would drive that little car.
Mhm.
Just me and Daddy
Yeah.
on the road.
Yeah.
And there would be peanut on the passenger side. because that's what kept him awake.
Mm-hmm.
He would eat peanuts when they got sleepy. And
Yeah.
you had to clean out the car.
That's what his car used to drive to school when I was a senior.
Uh-huh.
He gave that car to y'all boys.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
he
He used to
did.
drive that car to school.
Yeah.
So I can get off and go home and go to work or go to work somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I remember about Dad too, like I said, he was a visionary, and he started transportation. And years ago, Glenn started a limousine business, and so he was in business for a little while, and then he went on to social work. Later on, I started a transportation business
Mhm.
also, and every once in a while, my dad said, "When you gonna start your business?" Because he knew I was driving, part time.
Mm-hmm.
I said it'd be very soon, and though things would come around, and I would get so close to getting that limousine service, but no cigar.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, the doors fell open, and I was able to get 2 limos at one time. And when I told my father about that, he was so
So
amazed
proud.
and
Yeah,
so proud.
so proud.
And I told
Yeah.
him, then I said, "You started transportation," because he took us all to school
Mm-hmm.
on Sunday morning, to Sunday school and neighborhood kids. I said, "You started transportation." That's how transportation got started. It came from you. And I still remember those days that sometimes we drove 2 cars down. Glenn would drive one, I would drive the other one, and we pick up everybody and go out to eat on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
He would be
So
proud of him.
proud.
Yeah.
The family reunion, we would do the same
Yeah.
thing. For years we did that
Yeah.
with the limousine, and that was, I think that blew his top.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was so proud of that.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
And for all of us to come home.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they love for you to come home. He said, if you can't go nowhere, always know you can come home.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess for me, and y'all have said that's about everything that I would say, but the story that I remember most, and I got pregnant when I was a senior in high school, because Daddy was strict,
Mhm.
and all of my other siblings, they were close enough that they went out together. Kenny, which was the knee baby, we were close enough to go out together, but he didn't want me to go out with him. So,
That is,
Kenny didn't want me to go out. I was cramping his style.
yeah.
So because Daddy would tell me or Mom would tell me, if your brother take you, you can go. Well, he never want to take me.
Right.
But one time he did, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for mine while I'm out. Because I ain't no telling when I'm gonna get out again. Well,
That's when you got
yeah.
You went first.
I went for my,
Naughty little girl.
but of course I was afraid to tell Mama and Daddy.
Mhm.
But Mama knew it. And I think she kind of softened it up, for Daddy. And of course, he never said anything to me. Mama was, I'm sure both of them were disappointed to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Mama scolded me, but she also knew that, yeah. But Daddy never said anything. He never said anything negative to me about, getting pregnant before I graduated high school. But anything I wanted during my pregnancy, if I just spoke it, he would send Kenny to the store to get it. If I said I wanted ice cream, go get that girl some ice cream. If I said I wanted watermelon, go get that girl some watermelon, or he would bring it. Anything, doesn't matter what I said that I wanted, I would have it.
That's right.
And when she was born and we brought her home, Daddy had gotten a pink bassinet and she was in pink onesies. And he put her right up there close to the heater to keep her warm. And that was, couldn't nobody touch her as far as,
That was
doing,
his baby.
yeah, that was his baby. So that just let me know that even though I may have or made a mistake, she wasn't
Please, yeah.
a mistake.
Yeah.
But he never once scolded me at all, but he accepted her as his own. And actually, when it was time for me to move out, he told me I won't go take her. Now that was the one time that I stood up to my daddy. Had never done it before, but I stood up to him. He was like, you can go, but she ain't going. I said, Daddy, I'm taking my child with me. And again, Mama probably intervened and softened things up.
and she was able to go with me. But yeah, and she calls herself the eighth child.
Hey,
And-
Yeah.
Mama,
And-
Mama
Yeah.
softened up a lot of things. She would be like Archie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I stood up to Daddy once.
Really?
Yeah. That mama called me and she said, your daddy's sick and he won't go to the doctor.
Oh yeah.
She said, I want you to come home. I said, okay, I'll be there. So I get there. I said, Daddy, you got to go to the doctor. I ain't going nowhere. Ain't nothing wrong with me. I said, Daddy, I got mad. I said, do you want to be carried out or do you want to walk out? He said, who do you think you are? I'm the daddy, you the child. But he went.
Yeah.
He went.
And wrapping this up, I know we could talk about that
Yeah.
until Jesus comes.
It's
But the legacy that our father left us,
Mm-hmm.
I think earlier we talked about the house, the land, and the property that we have, but also the spiritual legacy.
Yeah.
You know, in our 12-week class, we have a class on legacy.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, we used my father's obituary
Mm-hmm.
to teach that class. And we asked the guys, you know, when you die, when you pass away,
Mm-hmm.
what are your kids going to say about you?
Right.
You mean Father's forever?
Father forever. Father forever.
Yeah.
What are you, yeah, the part, but one of my classes is called legacy.
Mm-hmm.
What are your kids going to say about you? Are you going to say, my daddy gave me the keys to be successful in life?
Mm-hmm.
Or they're going to say, my daddy was a rolling stone?
Mm-hmm.
And we pass out that obituary, and we go through the obituary.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, believe it or not, some of the guys want to take the obituary home with them. And I asked the guy, why? He said, because I want to remember this class.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when they come at the graduation, they bring that obituary with them.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've been using that class, that obituary for the last 15 years.
Right. Right.
And so that is where its legacy is not
Mm-hmm.
just for among us now,
Right.
but it's all the
Now it's-
men
yeah.
that we have touched.
That's good.
And one of our transition houses is actually named after Archie.
Yeah.
Archie's house.
But and that this speaks to he was a family man.
Yeah.
Not only did he love his children, but he loved his family.
Yes.
He loved his extended family,
Yes.
his aunts, his brothers,
Yes.
his cousins.
Yes.
He would travel and take us with him to go see Aunt Lola or
Yes.
to go see Uncle Wesley. It didn't stop. He was a family man.
He made sure
Yeah.
he knew who they were.
Right.
Right.
Family reunions was so
Very
important to
cousins,
him.
Oh,
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
He loved
We drive up in 2 limousines. And family reunion. Yeah.
He'd
So.
be sitting there tall in the first one too.
One
Yeah.
thing I said, he just instilled a lot of things in his children.
Yeah.
The value of life, the value of loving each other,
Mhm.
just great value.
Family, yeah.
How to make money and to be prosperous.
Yeah.
He instilled all those things in us.
And for him to have come from back in the day and to have that type of mentality speaks volumes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Speaks volumes. Yeah.
And another thing that I remember, and we all do, because we done it, probably y'all done more than I did. Stand out to me is him loving for us to sing. And it's like one night I was somewhere and the thought came to me, sing, sing, sing. I thought about my father. And so on his deathbed, we all was there.
Mhm.
And Erlene called and said, if you want to see him, you better come on. I went by and picked up Kenny's hat. I went in a hurry and I came there. So we all, viewing and saying our goodbyes to him.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden, everybody kind of disappeared and I walked by the door in the bathroom. He was in there by himself.
Mhm.
So I'm talking to him. I told him, thank you for choosing me as a son.
Mhm.
So I'm rubbing his chest. He's still working because he's always worked.
Mhm.
And I said, thank you for choosing me as a son, us as children.
Mhm.
If you want to leave, you can go ahead and leave now.
Mhm.
And he slipped away. And the last thing I said, we will be singing in a big way. So I'm calling those things speaking out as little boy. So
Right.
I often thought that he took that to heaven with him.
Mhm.
And I got an answer back in 2012. That's for another day though. So this is another legacy that's about to blow up in the Warren family. It's singing, bigger than you know.
Yeah.
Uh,
He would. He got us together.
So we're going to wind up. I encourage, if you watch this podcast, get with your family,
Mhm.
get with your siblings,
Mhm.
and sit down and talk about the legacy your daddy left you. And I know a lot of families get together for family reunion. I would encourage everybody to keep doing that because their name lives on
Mm-hmm.
inside of us as
Mm-hmm.
a sibling. And all of that, but pass it down to the next generation. Because we may be losing some of this to the next generation. So pass down your legacy and get together with your family. And we want to wish everybody happy Father's Day.
Mhm.
Until we meet again, we'll see you next time.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Father's Day.
Here's 3 ways you can support our Dads at a Distance initiative. Give a copy to a family member, our friend. Donate monthly, a book monthly, 5 books monthly, how many books you want to do monthly donation. Reverse book signing, your church, your business. You can make a donation go to our website at www.afatherforever.com and go to our PayPal at Fathers Forever. Our Cash App is $Fathers Forever. Make your donation today. Please include in the note section, include DAAD. Again, include in the note section DAAD. I really hope you enjoyed the conversation my siblings and I had. It was very rewarding to me. It really reminded me of my father again. I think about him often, but to hear my siblings and I sit down around a round table and talk about the legacy that he left in our lives. And that legacy continue on as one of the classes that we teach, we said earlier, one of the classes that we teach is about legacy. So I hope that you would spend some time with your family this Father's Day, not only just month, but this Father's Day event, the whole month of June, and just get with your siblings and talk about family stuff and enjoy your family. Until we meet again, I'll say so long.
If you or someone you know would like to be a part of the show, please visit our website at www.afatherforever.com or call us at 919-779-9905. The Chat and Chew podcast streams Thursdays at 12 p.m. on YouTube and Facebook. To schedule a reverse book signing or to find out more information about how you can become a part of the programs you heard us mention today, please be sure to stop by our website as well.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fathers Forever University. My name is Glenn Warren, and I will be your instructor. Fathers Forever University is a remote learning experience where we take our 12-week class, and we meet here every Thursday night from 6 until 7, and we talk about fatherhood. We talk about domestic violence. We talk about where your child support money is going. We teach classes about fatherhood and how important it is to be in your child's life. So these 12 weeks is going to be very important for you guys to understand and the concept of fatherhood and what we're trying to teach you. Fathers Forever University is broken down into 12 weeks, and you can start at any time during those 12 weeks. The key to it is finishing those 12 weeks. Every lesson is in lecture format, where you listen to that lecture, and then on Thursday nights, we discuss that lecture. The Thursday night discussion is where your homework will be due. Part of your homework assignment every Thursday night is to, one, we'll ask you the question, what did you learn? And the second question, how am I going to apply what I learned? We also have specific assignments for each lesson in the notes below. This has been an introduction into Fathers Forever University. Now let's get started in lesson 1.